Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AMAA and Elite Publications press conference. We are super excited that you have decided to join our special live interview with some phenomenal ladies and gentlemen. And we hope that you would just be with us throughout this interview as we interview some women who've paved the way for other female martial artists. We have joining us Elsa Cordero, who is the first female head instructor for the June Ree Institute. In 1981 to 91, NASCA Sportswoman of the Year. She was inducted to the Diamond National Hall of Fame, first person to win 4 Diamond National rings. We welcome you, Miss Elsa, today.
Thank
We
you.
also have Helen Chung Vasiliadis. Helen, can you wave for us? There we go. Helen began Taekwondo in 1970. She was on the national circuit from 1980 to 1990, forms and fighting Waco World Champion welterweight division in 1987, and inducted into the Diamonds Hall of Fame. Last but not least, she's a mother of 5. We welcome you today, Miss Helen.
Yay!
And then we have Miss Christina Bannon-Rodrigues with us. And she's been training in the martial arts for over 42 years. She's a 9-time Waco World Champion in forms, fighting, and weapons. A stuntwoman in various movies and TV shows, including The Next Karate Kid and Batman and Robin. And she's the coach of Team CBR. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Miss Christina. And we also have Miss Karen Sheperd, who is a martial arts trailblazer and actress. She was the first woman to be rated #1 women's black belt forms competitor, a title she held in 1979 and 1980, which is a title she fought hard to establish for future women forms competitors. She's featured in television shows and movies with Kevin Sorbo, Cynthia Rothrock, and Chuck Norris. She's a member of the Black Belt Magazine's Black Belt Hall of Fame, Martial Arts Hall of Fame, Ultimate Warriors Hall of Fame, among others. We welcome you, Miss Karen. We ask that you wave to the people.
Everybody.
And last but not least, Miss Linda Denley, who is a 17-time world champion, the first lady to be inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. She's been inducted into the U.S. Hall of Fame, the Diamonds Hall of Fame, the Texas Hall of Fame, among others. She is a 5-time Waco world champion, #1 competitor from 1985 to 1994, and has appeared in several motion pictures in movies with Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan. Miss Linda, we welcome you. She's also a martial arts owner and the mother of 2 daughters and a grandmother of 7 grandchildren. We ask that you wave and greet everyone. Look at those muscles, ladies and gentlemen. I just got a very small portion of these phenomenal ladies, their bios, and we're going to tell you how you can read more about them. They've paved the way for so many female martial artists, and we welcome each and every one of you. We also have with us Sifu Alan Goldberg. We ask that you wave, who is the guru of event planning. We know that we are expecting something amazing to happen in January of 2023. We're going to hear more about his event, the Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Honors, and we are super excited to be there and join you there. But I'm going to turn this over to Jesse Bowen, Grandmaster Jesse Bowen, who is going to give us some more information about the book and the interview and tell us more about the event. He is the AMAA and Elite Publications Executive Director. We welcome you, and I turn this over to you, Grandmaster Bowen.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Everybody give them a big hand. Give yourselves a big hand. You know, Sifu, And I was thinking earlier before we were coming on, I'm going, we were super excited when we learned about the man landing on the moon. Here we are now, get ready to launch the first, Hall of Honors for women in the martial arts and sport karate. And I am super excited, sir. Any words of wisdom from you?
Listen, we're in this all together, and it's very honorable to have people of such stature come into an event and have all these women there. We have others too. I mean, there are a lot of other great competitors. And something else we have this year, which ladies may not know about, Cookie Melendez is also doing a full women's tournament at the event. And so this is carrying on. It's ironic, and I hope Jesse up with her to talk to her. So it's going to be, it's going to be the women's year. Let's put it that way.
Well, this is, really exciting. I know, your event is one of the premier events in the martial arts, and it's coming up here in January. And we started doing the history book for your event. I guess it's about what now? 4 years ago. I think we were going to the fourth edition of that. And, we never had any idea we'd be winding up where we are, but we're super excited. So I want to just, go through and give these ladies a moment to just sort of, reflect back, because for me, I'm super excited, and I know they are. And, Helen, she's been, and Elsa and everyone, and Christine have been really working hard to push this idea forward. And here we are. So it is now, getting ready to become official. So we just got a lot of things going on. And we're going to talk towards the end of the program about how you can nominate someone. So you can actually go to the AMAA, into the Who's Who in the Martial Arts.com. And there you can see the Women's Hall of Honors. You can nominate someone from there. The criteria base is that they have to be black belt before 2000. So that is the criteria. So we're working with the ladies of the 20th century. So I'm going to go ahead and start off, and I guess I'm going to start with Helen. And one of the questions that we had for you ladies, how do you think they being honored in the first Hall of Honors and featured in the first legacy books for women in the martial arts, how do you think that's going to influence the martial arts? So we'll start with Helen.
Well, everybody always loves a great story. And I feel like this book that we're putting together is a platform for all this to be, like a historian puts something together. And I think people will find it super interesting. One of the stories I want to tell really quick, and after that I want to hand it over to Karen, is that my very first tournament was the Battle of Atlanta in 79 or 80. And there were 200 competitors in the black belt forms division, just men and women combined. And Karen was in that division, and they had 8 places, and she got 8th place. And I was so proud of her, placing 8th amongst all those men. And that really inspired me. And so I kind of look up to her. And then stories like that people don't know about, the competitors today, they don't know where it all started. And that's one of the places it started for me. So Karen, I think you should take the next stand and tell us what you think about putting this book together.
Thank you for that, Helen. That really touches me. And yes, it was a time when there was only 10% of all martial artists were period. And so very few women competing because they didn't have a goal to work for. They weren't acknowledged. There were no divisions for women often. And I was the only one rated nationally at number 6. So that's a whole different story. I won't go into that right now. We'll save it for the book. But I think that, number one, it's kind of important that we get this right now. Let's face it, there's probably 4 of us that I know of on this committee that are what I would call senior pluses. And we've lost a lot of people.
I'm not raising my hand.
Not to name names, but we've lost a lot of people. And that's really sad. But so I think it's really important that while we have time on this earth, we get this right. And I think that it's important we get it right for the right reasons. Yes, our accomplishments, yes, they're inspiring. And you're right, Helen, we all have stories that I think will be a great inspiration to people. And I think what's most important is that a purpose comes out of this book. And I'd like to cite an example. For instance, I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing and I love to watch old fights. And just the other day, I was watching the George Floyd and Ron Lyle fight. And it was a slugfest, okay? And they were not like, there was no boxing style. I mean, they were just slugging it out. But there was heart and sportsmanship and inspiration. And like George Foreman at the end, if you can look it up, it's a great fight. But beyond, there was, he acknowledged God for helping him with his leg. Do you know that man couldn't even walk when he woke up that morning? Couldn't walk. Had trouble with his leg. Went through that whole fight and acknowledged his competitor, gave thanks to him, gave glorified him, and he was humble. And that to me was the legacy I remember. Not so much that he won, he was a winner, and the fight itself, but his spirit. And what did he leave with me? The heart of a lion. Each one of us women, I believe, have hearts of lions, and that's why we're here today. And the reason I'm bringing him up as an example is because that's how I feel about us and how this book should have a purpose beyond just our accomplishments. I would love it to envision it to be that kind of inspiration for future generations of women, and not only women, but anyone. He says, I will die then rather than give up. My heart is that of a lion. Well, I think that is something that can be placed in every aspect of our lives, and not just martial arts. So I think it can reach beyond. I think if we can share those kind of stories to help inspire, look at these women, what they accomplished, how did they get through those hard times? How did they get through? What gave them hearts of lions? So that's kind of my feeling about it. And I think that's what it can offer to the martial arts, kind of bringing back a sense of good sportsmanship, sportswomanship, whatever you want to call it, sportsmanship. That's just what it was. And inspiration. And what do I remember about that fight? I remember his heart of a lion, his being inspirational. That's the takeaway. And I'd like to see this book have that kind of takeaway.
Great.
I want to say that I'm not quite sure if my story is fit appropriate for right now, but I want to say that I came up this book and that we're doing is an excellent idea. I mean, it lets the women know that came behind us, what we had to go through, what the struggles we had to bring them to where they are. I came up in an era where, they had women had no place in the martial arts. They had no division for us. They had one division. I remember my first division that I fought in, it was women, white through black belt, all women, all sizes, no separate division, no separate. If you were 12, that was a woman's division. There was no female divisions, period. It was 15 and under juniors, and that was it. You either fight with all the women or you go with the juniors. Well, I tried the women, I was getting disqualified. I tried the juniors, I was getting disqualified. I had no place. Being a white belt in there with the black belts, it was really, it was a struggle. But it gave us determination to try to set something up, or set a platform for us to let the men know that we can perform just as well as and try just as hard as to be half as good. So And I remember seeing Karen Sheperd at the Mardi Gras Nationals and competing. And that was one of my first tournaments. There was no women's division. We come a long way. We paved the way for them to have what they have now. Now they have divisions for almost every age, every belt color, and every rank. So what we have done and the stories we are telling, I think it's going to help them appreciate now where they are. Because back then, I mean, we were the true martial artists, I would say, the true martial artists, because we had to prove ourselves. No matter if it was a white belt or a black belt, you had to get in there and show yourself approval. And by our performance, I think that the gentlemen, the producers, kind of realized that, okay, they do deserve a place. This is our tournament draw, to have different variations and be real diverse with the sexes or genders in the martial arts. So we've done a lot to bring them where they are today, and they need to know in which they came from. They need to know.
That is awesome. Christina.
Hi. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I don't know what the problem was. It's a pleasure to be here, and I agree with what all these ladies are speaking about. Just having that, being an inspiration and a role model for the younger generation coming up. And, nowadays the girls, they all have their own division, and we all paved that way. And I'm with you, Linda, as far as, either having a fight with the boys, or when I was 13, or it was fight white to black belt in the women's division. And that would never happen now. They don't put kids versus adults. I mean, safety issues and legal reasons. So, it's great that these young girls have their own. And sometimes these tournaments, I co-promote a tournament with my husband, a world rated tournament. And the level of competition that these young girls are out there performing is amazing. And, they all have their own division, and sometimes the girls' divisions are tougher than the boys, and there are more women or young girls out there competing at some events than there are boys. So, the fact that we've come to that level now and increased so many, I mean, in our school, I would probably say we are 50-50 as far as how many males versus females in the school. And that's amazing, because I remember coming up and you were one of 2 girls in the school, if that, so I really think that this book needs to explain to the younger generation, because a lot of them don't know, like we all know about Babe Ruth and all these famous, whether it's baseball or boxing or all these other sports, because of the Olympics and because of television. But the martial arts, a lot of these young kids, they don't know who the previous champions were. And this book is going to teach them, tell them who the history of all these people. And I think that's really important, to preserve that history of the martial arts while we're still here. So I thank you for letting us do this just for the women out there and teaching the younger generation. I think it's very important.
Just to jump in there, I have to say something. I'm looking at the bottom row of the ladies that are on here, and I did covers on every one of you over the years. So I'm laughing now. It says now we're going to a little different level now, something that, well, not that people don't collect the magazines, but now you have a book that goes on the shelf that'll always be there. And that's a great thing. So proud to be part of that.
I mean, even with this book that's coming out, I think it's going to encourage a lot of the women to get involved. Back then, the reason why there was just a limited amount of enrollment was because there was no place for us. There was no place. I was 100 pounds, 110 pounds soaking wet. And I went up against women 185. And I became a world champion before I was a black belt, because we were all together. It didn't matter if you were what color belt you were on back then. You all go in the same division. All these apples go in this basket, and that is it. So this is going to be good for them. We have a place for them now. So now we see more women competing, more women coming out. Even the senior citizen, here I am. Even the senior citizens are coming out, competing. We need to find a place for them so they can feel wanted or needed. Don't kick them to the curb or kick the women to the curb because they're not a man. because, speaking for myself, and yes, I am tooting my horn, I was a draw. People came to see Linda Denley. Who is this woman that everybody's talking about? Karen Sheperd. Who is she? Can she really do this thing in that ring? And Cynthia and Helen, running from one ring to another for the fight. So now we have found our place. Let them know. Let this younger generation know, like Christina said, we know who some of the people are who we, were gone before we even got here. But because we keep them alive, they need to know in which they came from. If they don't know where they came from, they surely don't know where they're going. They have to know. They have to know that this person is the reason why you are where you are today. We fought. We fought for women's division. Karen was talking about that in California. And I can say here in Houston, in this South, where I travel all over the place, and because of the performance that we displayed, they couldn't help but say, okay, equal rights. Let's give the man, we give them $2. They give the women $2. Don't give the men $2 and say to the women, thank you very much for coming. No, that's not fair, because we were there just like them. And after a while, we earned our place. We earned it way before we were given it.
Go ahead, Karen.
Right. And yes, we earned it. And the point is that the new generation there's a whole different take. There's a whole different vibe out there in schools. I'll give you a really good example. Yesterday, I was in the grocery store, and there's a little girl standing there with her gi on, and she had some stripes on her little white belt, and she was so adorable. And I went up to her and I said, "Are you a martial artist?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "What kind of martial arts do you do?" And she went blank. She went, "I don't know." And she went, "Mommy, what kind of martial arts do I do?" Well, it turns out that she does Taekwondo, but only because I knew the name of the school and I was familiar with their style, which is, unfortunately, children are awarded just because they paid their money to the school. In other words, I'm trying to put this nicely, compared to in our day of training, we did earn it through blood, sweat, and tears. So yes, the history needs to be known. And like I said earlier, it needs to be set correctly for the future, for the generations now. These kids that have no idea, they don't even know what style they're training. They don't even know how to make a proper fist, but they're still getting, their belt awarded to them. And
sometimes it's just the generation, and they don't know better. And this is a great opportunity for us to teach them with our stories. So I think,
Yeah.
It's another topic because we do have kids that we babysit, and we have the Black Belt Club. We do have the kind that you can't work out over 30 minutes or they won't come back tomorrow because they sore and they tired from yesterday. And we do have the diehard ones. So we're talking about a different era. You cannot train these kids nowadays. My brother called them acquisition video babies. You cannot train them the way we train, because back then the person who won was in my division. The person who won was the person who was standing, not the person who had a uniform you can wear to class tomorrow because it was still clean. That type of stuff. You can't compare these apples and oranges right now. So you have to do it accordingly. I think my opinion, I know no offense to the people that are coming up behind. I just think that we did the realistic karate. Mr. Goldberg know what I'm talking about. We did the realistic stuff. But that has to do with the way you're trained. Not knowing your martial art, not knowing the philosophy, not knowing history, not even knowing how to make a proper fist. This is what they do. And that's good. It's not important to those. It's a business now. It's a business.
Well, this is the reason.
Hopefully this book will make a difference.
Right.
Yes.
Right? And let's get to Elsa, because I know she's here. And we want to hey, Elsa, are you still with us?
I think she said something about, I'm sorry, but this is not working for me. I can't hear everyone. The connection is going in and out. That's a note I'm reading on the side here. If anybody can see that.
All right, great. All right, so great. So we are really super excited about this event coming up. It's coming up in January the 27th. And, you have to be there. One of the greatest events in the world is the Martial Arts Hall of Honors. And it's always a great event. It's always a great event to come to and to have the opportunity to launch the first. This is the first. So this is a historical part that is set aside as a special day. You have that event, then you have Sifu's event on Saturday. This event is happening on Friday. So everyone, we're looking for, ladies in the martial arts and sport karate, people that have made contributions in the martial arts. So we're really looking for this to be not just an event, but we want this to be a historical event. And we want you to support it by nominating people, because there are great martial artists in each region that we don't know of. The magazines back in the day, they kept us up to date. And when they went to the side, we sort of lost touch of who's really who. So this is a great way to bring not just the champions out that we read about because of the magazine, but it's also the unsung heroes. So it's about the unsung heroes, those people that have impacted lives and made a difference. So ladies, thank you so much for coming and sharing. And I know this is a 3-hour conversation. I see that Grandmaster Denley, she's just getting right here. I can tell she's feeling better, right?
Well, I'm going to go lay down after this. Y'all pray for me, because I'm thinking about going and, well, I guess I shouldn't get no terrorist threats. But Sam's, that's my store, and it's the second time they've done it to me within a year. And I don't know. Good grief. I don't eat beef or pork, and I try to prepare my own food, but I'm getting it bad from the store. So I don't know. Y'all see me sick, so maybe I should contact my
We're going to pray for you. We're going to pray for you.
Please do. Please do.
Sifu, any last words from you, sir?
I just want to say something Linda said about the way people train. I said to someone the other day about the way we were trained. And I said, my Sifu used to train us. He had a bamboo stick, and he hit us all the time. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he goes, I said, no. We used to walk around with welts. And people don't know about that today. And we loved it. How was that the part? That was
stand on your legs for horse stands, stand on the back of the leg for farm stands, your hand on right, got hit with
Save it for the book, Linda. Save it for the book.
I just want to say about the event so people will know, and everyone that's coming, it's a major.
What event is this?
It's a 3-day event. What's that?
No. Oh, I thought you was talking about the Space City Open in Houston.
No, but it's a 3-day event.
I'm only kidding.
Okay, it's a 3-day event. We have 8 tournaments going on this year throughout the weekend. We have a kickboxing show. We have the women's banquet. We also have a children's banquet, plus the Hall of Honors on Saturday night. And we have a book fair Jesse and I are also talking about also. There's a lot of new things, probably about 21 different events throughout the whole weekend. So now people that have husbands that come, they have not think they're just going to sit around with all the ladies. They can come into the other events and have a good time too. So it's not like they're going to sit there here what's going on with the ladies. It's about everybody. But adding this on is a great honor. I'm glad Jesse brought it up, and I'm honored to have you ladies all involved too.
All right, great. Go check out the link is in the post. Check out, nominate someone. This is the official launch. So, we're hoping that have that first 100 ladies sign up, by the end of October. So tell some friends, and, we're going to, we don't want to limit it, but that 100 ladies is what we're looking for. So tell your friends. So let them know about it. Remember, check it out. Everyone be blessed, and thank you. Everyone, remember, check out this event. This is real history. Be a part of it.
Wonderful. It's so good seeing everybody. Miss Sheperd, I can't believe I see you. Mr. Goldberg, Christine, my buddy, Ace Colboon, Helen Road Dog.
Thanks for having us.
I'm editing this part, right?
Right. So I guess at some point Jessica's gonna stop recording, right? So we can have a conversation.
I am. I'm going to bump off because she's on another meeting that I got to jump onto.
All right.
Everyone also. Ladies, thank you very much. Jesse, thank you.
God bless y'all.
Bye.
Yeah. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.